Hey everybody, welcome back to the Court of Random Opinion. My name is Laura Neidigh. Last night when I was in the middle of what was supposed to be a short stream with Schnitzel Ninja, David Gingras dropped a new video on his YouTube channel, which is always a disappointment, and a link to his new filing to the Arizona Supreme Court. I started making this video last night, but then I kind of drifted off to sleep because I was actually watching David's video. Ill-advised, I know, but I guess psychobabble bullshit is my new ASMR because I just couldn't stay awake. So I had to come back and edit some of this in. So you will see me wearing two different shirts during this video. In fact, because of my jet lag, I went to bed so early last night that I'm now awake doing this at 4 a.m. here in Australia. Last time I was here in Sydney about 6 months ago around my birthday, I was getting lawsuit threats from David because I showed his video. I'm not going to go through David's filing too much right now. It's a long one, but most of it's exhibits. So I think it was like 20-some pages of the actual filing to the Supreme Court, and the rest of it was just attachments. We did read over the whole thing last night. I'll put a link to that below in the comments, but it starts around 29:20 of the video because, like I said, this came out while we were doing that and we were not expecting it. So just a couple comments on this video, and then I'm not going to share much of it at all, just the part that kind of pissed me off. Overall, this is fucking unwell. Just still kind of obsessively seething over Omar, over Greg Woodnick, over Rachel Juarez, but ultimately his point, as always, was kind of everyone else is dumb and I'm definitely right about things. Why doesn't anyone want to talk to me? These people should have talked through this with me, but the people that did try to talk through it with him are the people that he's kind of slamming in this pseudo burn book of a YouTube channel that he has. He's saying this is just about the law, but then he's also making these horrible comments about people and making accusations that Greg Woodnick and Marcus, who wrote the appeal, are unethical, saying they made false statements, he might bring it to the bar's attention. He says he was not wrong in Mata's court. He was not wrong in the Court of Appeals. You guys are wrong. Much of this video is just basically saying I'm right, everyone else is wrong, everyone else is stupid. And this is just wild.
That's, I said this before. I was so confident I was guaranteeing a win in the Court of Appeals. I didn't realize, first of all, that Marcus was going to make false statements of law, which he did. And I didn't realize that the Court of Appeals just wasn't, maybe whoever wrote this decision suffered from the same inexperience in dealing with this stuff. But this is what my petition talks about.
Here's where I'm going to show you what I recorded yesterday during the day on some of these clips, because frankly, I don't want to have to watch it again. And I'm also too tired to re-record all that. We all know how this went last time, but I guess if he wants to threaten to sue me again, that's fine, because he's the least intimidating lawyer on the planet.
A certain number of people, and Omar, you don't even count, bro. You're not an Arizona lawyer. You're not even admitted to practice in federal court. I've looked at Pacer. You've never set foot in a federal case. And I'm not bragging about federal. It's not that federal is only for the best lawyers. I'm not the best lawyer.
First of all, you should have stopped it. I'm not the best lawyer. Second, I'm sure you search for Omar's name on Pacer every day in the hopes that you'll hear something about him. And third, federal. Okay, well, I remember one of your most important cases, the only significant one, in my opinion, was in state court for allegedly fucking a minor. But hey, I guess some people get off on some really perverted shit and they get off on technicalities.
But this explains, and I finally have this clarity. This is why people well, Woodnick and I don't talk, but Omar and Rachel Juarez, who is a fake judge, and that's really all she is, these are not serious people who understand what they're talking about, and they don't care anyway. If they did care, they would have taken the time to talk to me and we would have talked through this. And because I've been right the whole time.
Okay. Greg won't talk to you because you harassed him and then tried to have the court force him to have lunch with you. We have already talked about Omar. I understand you have a crush. He hurt your feelings and you guys kind of argue back and forth. So I get it. I get where the anger's coming from a little bit. But this guy's sitting here saying people should have just tried to talk through it with him. Of course he's right. But then also in the same breath, insulting the one person who tried to do that with him respectfully at length. And he interrupted and he was disrespectful back and he offered her a fucking cookie. And Rachel is kind and smart and countless other things that David Gingras will never be. David can't see past his hubris far enough to know how to conduct himself in relationships with other people. Otherwise, he might have people like Omar or Rachel in his life, and he might not be so fucking miserable. So these things are always a little gut-wrenching to watch. That's why I stopped a while ago. In fact, I don't know why I let myself watch this one, but I did, and now I remember not to do that. Anyways, I feel like I'm surrounded by a lot of great people that I met through all of this, and this guy sucks. So that's all I got for now. See you later.